For Ravi, his worldview changes after 9 p.m. I don't think anything good comes into my life after 9 p.m. So I'm in bed reading. I want to be horizontal by that point and probably just look at another dawn. I don't want to go into the lateness of the night. I'm an early riser. So anybody who phones me after 9 o'clock, it's either an emergency or they've got the wrong number. So I picked it up, and it wasn't a wrong number. It was somebody who knew me very well. He said, "Rav, are you awake?" I said, "I am now." He said, "I got a problem I want to talk to you about." He was a surgeon, and he said, "I've been doing surgery all night, and this woman was brought into surgery. She was so badly beaten. Every bone was broken, basically. The bigger ones were shattered. And when the paramedics wheeled her in, they said, 'Doc, she's gone. No point dealing with it, she's gone.' But he said, I looked at that broken body and I said, there's no way this can happen. I had no idea what had gone on. So he told the team he was going to scrub and do whatever he could. He put his gloves on, everything. And he said the only hope was to give her a direct heart massage and see if I could revive her. They tried everything else, pounding on the chest and all. So he cut the rib cage, put his hand directly into the chest cavity, took the heart in his hand and started to give it an actual direct heart massage. And it didn't work. He walked away from there and he said, whatever happened to her? Who did this to her? So he's washing his hands when the nurse comes and says, Doc, I think you better look at this. She brought a bag, emptied it out onto the table. She was a drug junkie. There were all kinds of used needles in there. And as he was looking at all that stuff, he noticed in his haste to put his hand into the ribcage, he'd nicked his finger. And as he looked at that nicked finger, slightly bleeding, whatever, he said, I think I've made contact with diseased blood. I said, is it a deep cut? He said, no, it's a paper-thin cut. I said, now you're telling me a paper-thin cut could put you at risk to destroy your whole immune system if you've made contact with that kind of diseased blood. He said, it doesn't take any more than that. A paper-thin cut. Albeit at one point even the gloved hand. And I remember when I finished talking to him and he said he'd gone and given some blood for a test and he said a complete, comprehensive answer can only come in a few days, but I'm just hoping that I've not destroyed my body tonight. And I put my head back on the pillow and I thought to myself, are there paper-thin cuts to the soul? Can you make that little slight laceration that makes you vulnerable and exposed to something that can destroy your spiritual immune system? So especially to you young men, I say to you, what are you toying with? What do you hold in your hand? What do you see on your phone? What have you allowed the world to have access into your soul that gives those initial paper-thin cuts that down the years can put your marriage and everything else at risk?